Soon Pakistan will be the next Sri Lanka. The dynamics of South Asian geopolitics is all set to change in the coming months, with Pakistan going the Sri Lanka buckling under the debt pressure of China. Many other economies in the region are likely to face similar headwinds, considering the economic downturn if the Russia-Ukraine conflict does not abate soon. For India, the economic and political crisis in Pakistan is both a challenge and an opportunity to script a new chapter in geopolitics and geoeconomics. The Shehbaz Sharif government has many things in common with former PM Imran Khan's regime, and its red lines to bow to the decades of the Pakistan's army is only one of them. Add to the list government's desperate need of financial assistance to avoid the economic catastrophe, and like its predecessor, Sharif can only look at Gulf states for help. Pakistan urgently needs billions of dollars infused into its foreign reserve to ward off payment defaults. Besides, the steady flow of oil on credit has to be kept up to avoid scarcity and the rate situation. It is clear that the Western neighbor is on its way to meet the fate of Sri Lanka. Economic profligacy, rampant corruption, and excessive spending on army, whose agencies remain preoccupied in perpetrating terrorism in India and elsewhere, can be considered to be the hallmark of Pakistan's economic planning. While Imran Khan lamented of the corruption at high places, countries go bankrupt and become indebted when the head of state, government, and its ministers are corrupt. The present Interior Minister Rana Sanullah called the former PM's tenure a rule by an incomplete mob. Meanwhile, the people of Pakistan are having to tighten their belts and prepare for a bigger disaster than the one they have faced so far. The country's central bank said its foreign exchange reserve declined by $145 million to reach $10 billion by midway. The negative foreign reserve inflows, trade and current account deficit, and mounting debt repayment burden was forced the government to hold the negotiations with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) for a bailout package. Pakistan's beeline to the Gulf states will require it amend many of its foreign policy decisions, ostensibly taken under pressure from either the US or China. Islamabad had proposed to mediate between the US and Iran on nuclear issues. The Central Asian countries have to depend on Iran and Pakistan to reach out the Indian Ocean for trade. Both countries are on the Chinese development radar in Gwadar and Chabahar. The two countries are also required to cooperate on border issues and deal with the fallout of Afghan turmoil. Pakistan is under Chinese obligation to rein in the Baloch freedom fighters who are known to use the Iranian soil for refugee. All these factors brought Islamabad and Tehran closer during the Imran Khan regime. Now some of the Gulf states would want Pakistan to amend its Iran policy, much to the annoyance of both China and the US. The US too is not happy with Pakistan in the face of its ongoing energy security projects with Iran. In fact, the Iran-Pakistan-India gas pipeline project was jettisoned a decade back, as New Delhi felt the cost was very high and the prevailing security situation in Pakistan was not conducive to the success of the project. But Pakistan continued with the project, which was partially completed by the Iranian side. Pakistan had to withdraw from the agreement due to the US sanctions on Iran, much to the irritation of Tehran. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC) was touted as a game changer for Pakistan's economy. For China, it was a strategic move to construct a road through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir (POK). India raised objection on POK being unserved by China, even as some of the CPEC projects are yet to begin. The ongoing ones do not seem to accrue any benefit to the local population. Pakistan's inability to repay about the $1.5 billion loan of the outstanding dues is cited as a reason behind China halting some of the projects. So friends, if you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and join us for daily interesting videos like world affairs and current affairs. Thank you.